Ahoy folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So we're carrying on with our Zealot builds, and today we're looking at the Relic Sword. My favourite weapon on the Zealot. So, Relic Blade. I'm going to give you two ways to build this. Both are pretty good. So, first of all, we're taking a look at this one. Modifiers, damage, finesse, heat management, and power output, all at max. Mobility is our dump. And yes, I know finesse is 1% lower than it should be, and it aggravates me to no end. But I can't be bothered rolling up another one. Perk-wise, we're going with Flak and Maniac, a very classic way to build a weapon. Flak, because it's the most prevalent armor type in the game. Maniac, because this is just going to help us chew through those ridiculously large Rager hordes. And also, some of the specials are also tagged as Maniacs as well. Blessings-wise, we're going with Wrath for plus 50% cleave on hit, stacking 5 times. And Heatsink, weak spot kills and critical strike kills reduced heat by 10% over 3 seconds, which is going to allow us to keep the sword powered up for a lot longer, which means we're going to be doing a lot more damage. And I will give you the other way to build it if you do not like that. The other way is to build it Carapace and Unyielding. This is going to be a Monster Hunter kind of style of weapon with cranial grounding, reduces heat buildup by 6% and increases weak spot damage by 4 for 3 seconds on chained weak spot hit, stacking 5 times. And Rampage, hitting at least 3 enemies with an attack increases your damage by 36% for 3 seconds. They both kind of do the same thing, except this one has slightly less cleave and is more suited to hacking through maulers, crushers, and basically Ogrin and monstrosities, whereas this one is better at cleaving through hordes and dealing with Rager packs. So it is up to you. I would suggest having both, as both ways are very good to use. But for this one, we'll be sticking with the Wrath Heatsink version. Now, we have got the bolt gun. Mobility is going to be our dump. A lot of people say stability. I think they're wrong. So, damage, reload, collateral, and stability at 80, mobility at 60. Stability we're keeping because you do and will have to counter snipe at some point. It's inevitable. And this is going to give you the ability to actually shoot straight and make the gun feel less like a greased puppy. Perk-wise, we're going with Flak and Unyielding. This is going to help us with the most prevalent armor type in the game, being Flak, and Unyielding. It's going to help us mag dump into bosses and into Ogrin, specifically Bulwarks and Reapers. Crushers, not going to have too much problem with them, and I'll show you that in a moment. Blessings-wise, we're going with Shattering Impact. Target receives 4 stacks of 2.5% brittleness on direct projectile hit. Debuff lasts 5 seconds and can have a maximum of 16 stacks. Brittleness is just rending that you apply to an enemy, and then your entire team benefits from that brittleness. And Puncture, ranged hits add 4 stacks of bleed to an enemy. Now, I will give you an alternative build. If you don't want Shattering Impact and Puncture, which I do think are the best spearhead blessings, but you can go for Cavalcade and Pinning Fire. Cavalcade gives you crit, Pinning Fire gives you strength when you stagger. Bleeds work a lot better in Havoc than people think they do. So, just for the bolt gun, I will show you if you are new to the game or not entirely sure what's going on. Mag dumping, you just hold left down and you make the bad man go away. Now, bulwarks can be a problem, but it's generally a rule that 5 shots and it opens its shield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you just end him. And also, Reapers aren't really a problem. I would suggest only doing this if you are very stuck and it's your only way of dealing with it, because especially in Havoc, you don't want to be wasting ammo like this. As I said, if you are stuck and you're being bared down upon by many bulwarks, that is a way of dealing with them. So, that's the Spearhead bolt gun. Next up, we're going to be looking at the Curos. As you can see, they're all max health. The first 2 are twins, max health, damage resistant snipers, damage resistant gunners. And the last one is max health, with extra health, stamina regeneration, and damage resistance gunners. So as I said many times before, stamina regeneration, it's not about the actual speed of the stamina regenerating, it's the speed of how fast the stamina starts to regenerate, because there is a delay. And with stamina regeneration, that delay is shortened exponentially. And yes, gunner resist does have diminishing returns, but if you don't use it, you'll just be shredded by gunners. So, yes, it's been pointed out in every single video I've ever done. It has diminishing returns, I know. With these three, you don't actually get 60%. It's more like 43%. But still, without 43% damage resistance to gunners, you would be a fine red mist. So, swings and roundabouts. There we have the gear. Next up, jumping into the talents. So let's start over here on the right. Backstabber, plus 20% damage on melee backstab hits. Into Scourge, melee critical hits apply bleed, causing damage over time. Melee hits on bleeding enemies grant 10% critical chance for 3 seconds, stacking 3 times. Into Toughness boost. Then we're picking up Second Wind, which replenishes 15% toughness on a successful dodge. Into Enduring Faith, which gives us plus 50% toughness damage reduction on critical hits for 4 seconds. Next up, we've got Anointed in Blood, which gives us up to 25% base range damage, reduced the further you are from the target. So the closer you are, the more damage you do. Purge the Unclean, plus 20% increased damage against infested and unyielding. This does also count on melee and ranged. So it's a nice power buff for you there. Into a Toughness boost here. Into Restoring Faith. On taking damage, heal 20% of that damage over 4 seconds. Next up, we've got Immolation Grenade. Throw a grenade that leaves a layer of flaming liquid, burning and staggering enemies, and barring their path. Most effective against unarmored enemies. Into a Toughness boost here. Picking up Toughness damage reduction into Dance of Death. Minus 75% spread and 50% recoil for 3 seconds on a successful dodge. Though Wrath be swift, enemy melee attacks cannot stun you. On taking damage, gain plus 15% movement speed for 2 seconds. And then we're picking up Good Balance. A successful dodge grants 25% damage and reduction for 2.5 seconds. And then we're going over here onto the left, picking up Damage Boost into Movement Speed Boost. And then we're picking up Duelist. Plus 50% at weak spot and critical hit damage for 3 seconds on successful dodge. And then we're taking Until Death. Fatal damage instead grants you invulnerability for 5 seconds. Can only occur every 2 minutes. Next up, we're taking Holy Irreverent. When Until Death ends, you regain health based on your damage you dealt during Until Death. To a maximum of 25% max health, melee damage dealt heals for 3 times that amount. Then we're going to be taking Benediction, plus 15% toughness damage reduction for you and allies in coherency. Toughness boost, not damage. Fury of the Faithful. Dash forward, replenishing 50% toughness and gaining 20% attack speed for 10 seconds. Your next melee hit gains plus 25% damage and is a guaranteed critical hit. Next up, we've got Redoubled Zeal. Fury of the Faithful now has 2 charges. Suppression boost into Punishment. Melee attacks that hit at least 3 enemies. Grants plus 5% impact strength for 5 seconds. Stacks 5 times. At max stacks, gain uninterruptible. Sorry, that was wrong. Into Movement Speed Boost. And then we're taking Invocation of Death. Plus 200% ability cooldown regeneration for 4 seconds on melee critical hit. This is a very high crit build, so this is going to be proccing a lot, which means we can use this a lot more, which is also going to allow us to crit more, which is also going to proc this. So as you can see, it's a cycle of crit, hit, repeat. And then into Blazing Piety, which gives us plus 15% critical hit chance for 8 seconds when in Fury. Fury is triggered when 25 enemies have died within 25 meters. And last but not least, Fury Rising. Critical hits also count towards triggering Fury. So, as you can see, it's a fairly standard crit-focused build with a lot of on-dodge effects, which is basically going to allow us to dodge, crit, hit, move, repeat. And honestly, it's a very fun build to play with. I really do love the Relic Blade. It's my favourite weapon that the Zealot has. And it's just a joy to play with, really. And this is the build I've had the most success with in Havoc. So, I really do hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, please do like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. It really does help us out, and I shall see you all on the next one. So until then, take it easy, and I'll see you later.